Hi yogis, hi friends. Welcome back to our practice. How lucky are we? Look forward to this every Sunday. I know you guys do too. See if we can bring ourselves to our spots, these beautiful familiar mats. You hear the bells, the calling. You know what's coming. So first we'll find our presence. We'll start to work through calming our minds and finding our breath. Today we're going to work intricately through our movements in our pelvis and our hips and unwind some of the tensions. See if you can find your comfy place to begin, perhaps a half lotus, nothing forced. Ultimately looking to find some quiet in the body so we can allow ourselves to go into that relaxed state, physically, mentally. Maybe your sit bones or your anchors, like an energy pulling you down, a magnetism towards the earth. We'll pass the sit bones a bit, find the interior tilt of that pelvis, a little arch in your low back, a natural curve. Bring the low ribs together, not with a forced contraction, but a sense of a binding, a containment. So when we bring the chest tall, from the sternum, the center of this heart chakra, as it rises, what opens is the upper back. Many of you have been practicing with me for years now and have hopefully found these nuances in our body to be able to bring the system into its homeostasis. Feel as the chest is tall, the head comes up, becomes bobble-headed, right? It's free, all the tension in the throat and the neck, upper shoulders softens. Take your arms back behind you. Feel that release, maybe some energy tingling sensation into your fingertips as we floss the nerves, starting to pull the nerve tissue through that congested connective tissues. Release your elbows down towards your hips, palms are up, receptivity, down for grounding. Feel the weight of the elbow tips, the olecranon process, releasing to the ground. The ball starts to soften away from the socket in the shoulders. You feel the broadness of the collarbones, the ease in the sit. If your eyes are not already closed, shut the shades, block out the visuals, cut down distractions, and see the wisdom, hear the wisdom of your own body. What's feeding back from your periphery to your brain about your physical body? Change what you'd like to more just awareness. Where are we starting? What's happening in your brain? Never has there been a time like this where there's so much going on, so much things to think about, so many post-its in our brain, right? See if we can let that go for a bit. We can. It's all through the breath. Inhale through your nose, exhale through your mouth through pursed lips. Inhaling through the nose warms, hydrates, purifies that air. It's the best way to take in the conscious breath in its purest form. Deep down into the lung beds it goes, exchanges for the carbon dioxide, you exhaust as you breathe out through your lips. Proof positive, you are hearing and feeling the exhaust as it leaves your body is squirted out. See if you can allow that exhalation to become twice as long as the inhalations. Find that natural breath rhythm as we start to join our breath and envision each one of us sitting around the world practicing for this time, practicing together, even though we are apart. Let's sit for a minute and join our breath. Before you open your eyes, take your thumbs, cross them like bird wings, place them right over the heart center. Calming, soothing, quieting space. It's our compassion center. Feel the heartbeat inside the chest and feel the warmth on the outside in your palms. We stop for a moment here and we do feel our humanness. Blink the eyes open, look at the front of your mat, and bring the gaze back up. The arms float up magically. Helium fingers taking us up. Feeling that grounding, right? The energetic magnetism today pulling down towards the ground. Somewhere in the center, maybe below the rib cage, the center of the body there, the turnaround point, the grounding and the lifting. So notice, yogis, as we sit here for a moment, every exhalation, the fingers go a little bit closer up towards the sky as we find the safety and allowance of the tissues to start to soften and hydrate. Pull the low ribs in. Look up at the hands. See if you can take your thumbs back behind you from the opening of your upper back. Fit the head between the elbows, touch your hands together. Interlace fingers. Index to the sky, your steeple hands. You know this. Back again to waistline lengthening, rib cage. All the things that are compressive during our day and binding, trying to soften. Inhale. Exhale, right and left. Back and forth with your breath and your movements, trying to soften and unbridle the side. Take the hands, press them together. Inhale, and on the exhale, lower down through main central, stopping at third eye, tip of the nose, lips, throat, onto your big heart. Lift your heart. Shoulder blades drop, head nice and free. Inhale. On the exhale, spin the hands to the earth. Into the neck we go. Find your grounding. Right hand holds the earth as the left ear softens in. Just let it slowly start to side bend. Identify for yourself, where is the resistance? Could be the right side of the neck, could be your spine, could be your brain just still trying to settle in. See which rings true mostly for you. Let's take our left hand up today, put it on the right ear, and give a gentle little tug. So we're not forcing this. It's just another way of recognizing where the hold is. See if you can release. And then let that left hand release back down towards the ground. Inhale the head back up. And exhale opposite. Right ear softening in. Weight of head and gravity doing the work. Identifying your spot. Maybe it's a different spot on this side. Take the right hand up. Onto the left ear, slowly soften in. Release the right hand back down to the ground. Inhale your head back up. On the exhale, left hand turn with the chin. Do your little wave ride here. So a little bit of a calm sea as you make your way over, looking towards that left shoulder. Come to a pause with the nod of the head and see if maybe you can spin the rotation through the vertebrae in that neck around a little bit more to the left. Inhale back through center. Exhale, ride the wave around to the right. When you feel you get to the end of your range, pause with the wave and try to spin the vertebrae a little bit more. Inhale back through center. Exhale, take it around to the left. Find maybe a cleaner path. We'll use the hand again. Left hand will come up on the right ear. Give it a little bit of an encouragement to spin around. Release the left hand to the floor and then bring the chin out towards your to that left shoulder point. Just a few maybe different ways of accessing some of this tissue. Inhale back through center. Exhale around to the right. Find that clear path. Right hand outside left here. Give a little bit of a push. Release the hand to the ground. Inhale, exhale, take the chin out towards your right shoulder point. Beautiful, yogis. Bring it back to center on the inhale. And on the exhale, lower your chin down to the jugular notch between the two collarbones. Still feel the grounding and the lifting, right? So we're not compressing into this. The chest stays nice and tall. Just the chin descends down, jugular notch. Inhale, and on your exhale, trace the chin along the line of the right collarbone. Stays on the bone for safety. If it starts to come away, pause there. Otherwise, trace it around to that same shoulder tip we were just at. Let's hold the chin over there and take your left hand now and spin the palm towards the sky. The thumb rotates to the back. Little nerve floss here. Beautiful. Bring your hand back to neutral. Spin it back. Inhale on the exhale. Take it around the other way. Keep it on the left collarbone. Trace it around. When you get to the end, spin the right palm up. Thumb goes to the back. Bring it back down. Spin the chin back down through. On the inhale and on the exhale, bring the chest nice and tall. The head will come up. Inhale again. Exhale, reaffirm, press it. Sit bones, fingertips. Find the length to your spine. See if you can feel that you can grow tall. Push your heart forward, opening of the upper back. Very slowly allow the head to release back. Sharing the movement through as many vertebrae as you can possibly find. Finding that nice arched movement. No dizziness, no pain in the spine allowed. Back off if either one of those is present. Otherwise, celebrate the movement here. Lots of extension in our spines. Inhale your head back up. Neutral position. Exhale. L-shaped hands. Tops of the thighs. Here we go. First forward fold. Press down onto the thighs. Find the grounding. Envision your skeleton. Pelvis rocking forward, right? The thighs are stable. The pelvis is rocking forward. We're going to work a lot with our pelvic movements all through practice today. So see if you can find that sense of the anterior tilt of the pelvis and the arch of the low back. Pull the low ribs in, tuck the chin. Lead with the crown of the head towards the top of the mat. See if you can find the softness and the length. Elbows at the side, palms are up. Let's spin our root hands to the earth. Inhale, exhale, turn them. Hands go down to the ground. Index fingers forward, thumbs towards each other. Press the fingertips into the ground, pucker the palms, keep the wrists where they are. Look at your elbows, yogis, the creases as they spin towards the sky. Your hands don't come up, the elbows spin, and the shoulder blades start to adhere onto the rib cage. See if you can descend the elbows down to the ground or to a prop. And as soon as they hit, lengthen out. Feel the crown of the head come to the top of your mat. Long spines. Big inhale. And on the exhale, just release the crown of the head towards the earth. Find the flexion in your neck, those 7 vertebrae. Inhale the head back up, and on the exhale, walk your hands back up to your tall sit position. Switch your legs to your uncommon cross if you're sitting in half lotus. We'll take our arms up, widespread fingers, cactus arms, elbows out to the side. Very familiar. Thumbs go back, hitchhiker. Shoulders, externally rotating the ball in the socket. Keep it pure in the shoulders now, as we've been doing in the hips. Drop them forward, internally rotating the ball in the socket. Breaking down all the movements in our body so that we lubricate all the joints and find this sharing of the movements, not everything taken along for the ride. Fingertips down to the ground. Back up on the inhale. On the exhale, bring them together for your fly machine arms. Turn the palms to face you. Inhale. Exhale, push the sides of the hands and elbows together as you rise up. When the elbows start to come apart, pause there for a moment. See if you can maybe come a little bit higher into the range, and then pull them apart, index and middle touch. Exhale, drop the elbows down through that thick fluid. Reset the whole machine. 2 more times, yogis, up you go on the isometric press. And down. Isometric press. And down. Elbows at the side. Turn your light bulbs up into our Queen's Wave. Up overhead. Hallelujah. Back down. Go ahead and shake them out. All right, go right down to the top of your legs again. Press down. Find your own way down to the earth. So not choreographed by my words, but by your intellect and your memory of the pose. Come on down. When you're there, release the elbows to the ground. Press hands and elbows into the earth and lengthen out. Let's walk our hands back up again. Tall position. All right. Still familiar territory, move your blankets. Come on to all fours. Honestly, this is the routine that I do every single day after my dog walks. When the tissues are warmed up, press the heel back, crown forward, back of the knee to the sky. I'm starting to add some of the movements to the pelvis that I'm going to share with you today. Take the left foot back, do the same thing. Heel back, crown forward, back of the knee to the sky. Take it forward one more time, left and back with right. Heel all the way back, open the calf. Let's articulate all the bones in the feet. Come onto the tips of the toes, right foot. Flip over onto the top of the foot. Feel the toe bones, the foot bones, the ankle bones, right? All of them starting to lubricate and open. Push the heel back. Other side, yogis, push lefty back, all the way back. Flip onto the toes, and over onto the top of the foot. Feel that articulation. Maybe the same as the other side, maybe completely different. Push the heel back. Good. Let's come into our pelvic movements now. Lubricate things up for what's to come. So hands probably in front of the shoulders a bit. It's uncomfortable for lots of people to have their hand directly underneath. You don't need to do that. You can have your hand out farther so that you're not jamming into your wrist. Toes are curled under, just nice and easy. First time, arch the back and push your buns back behind you. We're starting to open up the crevices here. We deepen our hip flexion, we deepen our knee flexion. Inhale forward, find the stability in your arms now, and then release the pelvis forward. So watch that you're not rounding your upper back, but just kind of a movement of the pelvis. Push back again, inhale, exhale, come back, maybe halfway back. Starting to feel a little bit more action in the arms and the upper back. Pause for a moment, release the head, maybe ears between elbows. Inhale back up, and on the exhale, release the feet and come through for your first beautiful hanging cobra. Shoulders open, maybe you can feel it in your abdominal wall. No pinchies in the back, turn your head to the right and left. If you've got pinchy low back, put a block underneath your pubic bone or just back off. Bring your head back to neutral. Inhale, curl the toes under on the exhale. Keep the toes curled under and push all the way back. Find your down dog arms, right? Long upper back, and then release the elbows to the ground and the forehead to the ground for Sphinx arms. Inhale back up, exhale, release, come through, find the lubrication through your spine, hang your cobra. Inhale, and on your exhale, look up. See if you can find that arcing movement from your tailbone all the way up to the back of your skull. Inhale the head back to neutral. Exhale, curl toes under. This time the knees will go wide, big toes will touch. Down dog arms into Sphinx arms, into forehead to the earth. No pinchies in the hips. If you've got that, back off. Otherwise, shift your pelvis to the right and the left. See if you can feel what's happening there, yogis. The pelvis is moving on top of those fixed thigh bones. We're lubricating the tissues. Bring the pelvis back to neutral. Inhale up through scared cat. Exhale, feet come apart. Release your cobra. Open the big heart. Share the movement between thoracic spine and lumbar spine. Don't overdo the low back. And see if you can bend your elbows so you touch your pelvis down to the ground. The elbows will pull back towards the hips. The chest stays huge and open. Put your pelvis down. Pause for a moment there. Inhale back up. And on the exhale, last time, your wide child, push back. Push all the way back. Allow your forehead to release to the ground. And this time, turn your palms up, yogis, for your hopeful pose. Hope for something spectacular to drop into your own life, but mercy into the lives of all of us. Some hope for our future, us like-minded folks trying to conjure up our best images. Take a moment here to find your breath. Gratitude for our practice, for our community. We turn our hands back down towards the earth. Slide your hands up underneath your shoulders and push up. Okay. I'm going to have you guys on your backs in a moment for crazy legs. Just orient yourself to what we're doing here. Pelvic movements, right? So when I'm talking about pelvic movements, we move it forward and we move it backwards. And that's what we're going to try to access today as we move through practice. Come onto your backs. You're most all of you familiar with crazy legs. A great way to get the hips and shoulders and back going. Just what we've already done. Have your knees together and your feet apart. Kick your thumbs into your elbow creases. Let's start today with the arms up over the head. So take the arms up and see if you can let the arms rest back. You might need a bolster or maybe just rest them on your forehead. But see if you can start with your arms up over your head today. And just get the legs moving. Right knee down inside the left shin. Inhale back up. Left knee down inside right shin as the legs go to the right. Start to find the rhythm of the breath and the movements with your legs here first. Notice the separate movement of ball and socket in your hip. Good, have the arms now. So take the arms, they're above the chin now, and legs will go one way, the arms will go the opposite way. So don't open up the full way your first round. Start to feel the edges, the barriers, and with each time we soften into it. The tissues get accustomed to what's going on, where we want the movements to come from. So maybe close your eyes, dissolve into this sense of rotation in opposite ways, and then let the head start to join the party. Inhale back to center, head follows knees, while the arms go their own way. Head and knees, arms their own way. Let that go for a few rounds, breath and movement. And then whether your eyes are open or closed, add the eyeballs. The eyeballs will follow the elbows while the head follows the knees. It's like putting some oil into our spine and our hips and shoulders, lubricating the joints, starting to feel the fluids flow. Go for another breath or two. Try to marry the breath with the movement again. And come on back to neutral. Let's do our clocks and tilts. So with clocks and tilts, we get the sense of movement of the pelvis without moving the legs or the spine very much. So let's go ahead and start with your heels close up to your buttocks, your feet apart, and you can turn your palms up to begin with. Pretend that there's an imaginary clock underneath your pelvis now, so you're lying down on top of a clock with 12 o'clock at your belly button, 6 down by the pubic bone. Go ahead and tilt the pelvis backwards, a posterior tilt towards 12 o'clock, and you'll feel your back, low back, flatten to the ground. Release that to the opposite.
This is what I'm calling sacral imprinting. Feel the sacrum press to the ground and the arch in your low back. That's down towards 6 o'clock. Go back and forth now, up to 12 and down to 6. See if you can feel the movement of just the pelvis moving over those fixed thigh bones. Nice work, yogis. Let's add the tilt or the clocks to it now. Come up to 12 o'clock, back flattens towards the ground, and then circle the pelvis around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, familiar, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. You'll probably find some sticky spots in your clock. See if you can work through that stickiness. And if your legs are moving crazily, see if you can bring the awareness to keeping them stable, or maybe even put your hands up on your thighs for a moment and see if you can find the hula dance. That one's for you, Ike and Katie in Hawaii. Find your hula dance and bring it back the opposite way, counterclockwise. So see if you can find the rhythm in that, lubricating again, finding the separate movements in the pelvis. Good work. Bring it back to neutral. Go back up to 12, down to 6, and then halfway between is your neutral spine. Take your hands, maybe your index fingers, onto the points on the top of your pelvis and rock it from 3 to 9 now. So drop the left and then drop the right side. So maybe an awkward movement, but see if you can find some sense of movement of that pelvis without, again, the movements of your legs. Close your eyes for a moment, see if you can find that nuance. And let's come back to neutral. Let's add a little bridge, get some warmth going, and then I'm going to take you back through that long strap sequence, really open our hips. Middle fingers touch the heels for most of us. If your arms are shorter, they won't. Turn your palms up. Lift your toes off the ground and then put them back down onto the ground. Inhale. On the exhale, push the bottoms of the feet into the earth. Pull the elevator, the imaginary egg, up into the pelvis. It's your pelvic floor, and tack your belly down towards the ground without flattening the back, and lift your hips off the ground. They come up very slowly when we've got all that musculature engaged. Squeeze an imaginary block between your thighs and move your knees towards the bottom of your mat. Open your bridge. Take your hands underneath your back, interlace your fingers. Do your shimmy shoulders right and left. The rest of the bridge now comes from the opening of your thoracic spine. Try not to overload your low back. Bend your elbows, fingers to the sky. Inhale. On the exhale, robot arms. Push the elbows down into the ground. Look down at your heart and look how the heart comes at your face. Pause here, or maybe add straight arms back to the shoulders. Press the earth's fingertips. Touch the roof of your house. Inhale on the exhale. Don't lose any press of the legs. Keep the concentration on the core. Take your arms up over your head. Reach to the back of the room. Open way up. Pause for a moment here. Go back through your own checklist of stability points. Inhale the arms back up. Exhale, put the elbows down, open the big heart. Release the arms. Slowly disassemble, lower down. Come to the bottom of the rib cage. Skip the low back, imprint the sacrum, right? That's your 6 o'clock. Soles of the feet come together, open the knees out to the side, Baddha Konasana legs. Good. Let those legs rock side to side, pinwheel legs. Bring them back. Hands to the outsides of the legs, move the legs back together with the hands, the cue, take the feet apart, go back into bridge, palms up, inhale. Exhale, push the feet to the earth, pull the imaginary egg up, tack down the belly, feel the rise of the pelvis. Squeeze the block, imaginary block between the knees, push the knees towards the feet. Start to bring the opening of the heart, the awareness. Take your hands underneath your back, interlace your fingers, do your shimmy shoulders. Let's pause here for a moment. Take the right foot to the center of the mat. So walk the toes over. Reinforce the core. Inhale, and on your exhale, see if you can straighten out your left leg without upsetting the apple cart here. Try not to drop the left hip, but keep the left butt cheek contracted along with the right. Inhale, and on the exhale, put your left foot down just next to the right foot. Engage the core. Find that left glute and right glute. Straighten out your right leg. It just needs to come up to meet the left leg. It doesn't need to come way high up into the sky. Bend the right one. Put the foot down very close to the left. Find your core. Straighten out your left. We've got all kinds of stability points here. Our arms. Our weight-bearing legs, switch back again, straighten out right. We got one more round. Put that one down and straighten out left. Put left one down, take the feet apart a little bit more. Let's continue with the bridge. Straighten out both arms up to the sky and gracefully up over your head. Reach back. Inhale back up. Exhale, elbows down, open the heart. Release. And slowly lower the spine down again. Soles of the feet together. Knees out. Do your rocking side to side. Bring them back to neutral. Take your hands to outsides of your legs. Move your knees together. Maybe come sit up for a moment. I'm going to review with you quickly here. We're going to go through this long strap sequence. So if you don't have a long strap, you won't be able to put it behind your back. It's not the end of the world. If you have two straps, put them together. If not, you'll just need to hold on to the strap. I advise you invest in a long strap. There's some amazing things we can do with it. So get your strap together. Have the tail end of the strap down where you can grab it once you put it around you. Versus being up, it should be down. And go ahead and put it around you, and we're going to be on our backs. So where's the strap? It's right up under your armpits, as high up onto that thoracic spine as you can get it to go. Put yourself down on your back. I'll give you a moment to all kind of catch up here. What you'll do is, when you're ready, take your right foot and put it on the strap. So again, if your strap isn't long enough for any of this, then just hold on to it for today. So why the strap underneath the armpits? This is a twofer, right? We're going to get thoracic extension while we work with our hamstrings and some intimate hip movements. Okay, so what I'd like you to try to feel here as you press your right foot up, that the knee will straighten. So adjust your strap as necessary for that leg to feel like it's being held, and you don't really have to do much work. In addition to pushing with that right foot up towards the sky to stretch your hamstring, feel what it does to your thoracic spine. It gives the heart open position. All right. Find your comfortable place where you're really not having to work at all. You've got the strap adjusted so your leg stays in place. Okay, I want you to go back to your pelvic clocks and tilts now. Go back to 12 o'clock and then go back to 6 o'clock. Can you yogis feel as we move into 6 o'clock, there's more of a pull on the hamstring? So that's what we're after. We're after the pelvic position to help to give the hamstring the signal to relax. So see if you can find your edge where you can move towards 6 o'clock with enough pull on the hamstring without it feeling too irritated, right? All right. I suggest you take the strap again because we accommodate after just a few moments and tighten it down. Look at your toes now and pull them towards your face. Oh my goodness, that's your calf stretch now too. Gastrocnemius. Beautiful. All right, yogis, let's straighten our left leg now. This will change the whole thing now too. Left leg straightens out, Tadasana leg. Go back to your 12 o'clock and then back to your 6 o'clock. Let's keep 6 o'clock awareness. That's sacral imprinting. That's the position we want the pelvis to be in, right? Take your hands onto your strap now. So your hands are inside of the strap here, and use your hands to help to encourage maybe a little bit more hamstring length. If you feel like you moved it a whole bunch, grab the end of the strap again and give it a pull. Keep the hands here. They're going to help us in moving our leg. Okay. Sacral imprint. Feel that. As you imprint your sacrum, the hamstring gets another little notice. We're on tension here. Move the right leg that's up in the air side to side. So what we're doing here is starting to really move the hip joint. Those of you with some start of osteoarthritis or maybe some stiff hips, this is so wonderful for lubricating. Bring the foot back to neutral and then turn it. You can use your hands, turn the toes out, turn the toes in, internally and externally rotating the ball in the socket. Yeah. Come on back to neutral. Find that long left leg, maybe tighten up the strap again on the right leg. And we'll pause for a moment here. You can release your hands. Take your hands back to the strap. If you have any sort of sciatica going on and this increases your sciatic symptoms, back off. Imprint your sacrum, yogis. Find that 6 o'clock, right? Inhale. On your exhale, start to peel the vertebrae off the ground. Start with your head. Bring the nose towards the sky. Come as high up as you can. Feel that abdominal wall working. Look up at your toes. Pull your toes towards your face. So this is a nerve floss, stomach strengthener, a hamstring stretch. Come out of it very slowly, yogis. Put your bodies back down on the ground. Head's the last. Maybe tighten up the strap last time. And we'll repeat that one more time. Hands up on the strap. Imprint your sacrum. Inhale. Exhale. Pick your head up off the ground. Move your nose towards the sky. Start there. And then start to round the upper back a bit. Pull in the abdominals. Pull the toes towards the face. Pause. Release back down towards the earth very slowly. My goodness. Take the hands back down towards the ground for a moment. Luxuriate in that deep stretch and articulation in our hips. All right, yogis, bend your left knee, put your foot on the floor, bend the right knee. Woo. You can monkey foot it if you want. Put your left foot in, take your right foot down. And you might need to readjust completely for this left side. It might be completely a different story in the length of your hamstring. So again, try to find a position where you can straighten your left knee, but still keep the sacrum imprinted to the earth. If your strap has slipped down the back a bit, maybe take a moment and put it back up by the armpits. If you're wearing a slippery yoga shirt, sometimes they slip all over the place. Secure the position, tighten down on the strap, feel the opening of the big heart, right leg still bent. Left leg nice and tall now, finding that release of the hamstring. Look up at the toes, pull them towards the face, feel a little bit of gastroc stretch, maybe pull down on the strap again and find that home position. And take your hands off for a moment and just feel this release where you don't have to work. If you're holding with your glutes, soften them. Let the strap do the work. Melt into this softness. Inhale, and on your exhale, straighten out your right leg. So add that to the equation. As the right leg straightens, try not to let the pelvis change too much. Keep the sacrum imprinted, right? So sacrum stays imprinted, and we really feel the tug on that proximal hamstring attachment on the sit bone. Take your hands up to the strap. Let's use our hands to help to facilitate the hip movements. Remember this? Inhale. And on the exhale, use the strap and take the legs side to side. So it's not going to move very much. We're not really stretching the breadth of the muscle. It's really just the attachment point and mobilizing the hip. So come side to side with it. Medium lateral glide of that hip. And bring it back to its neutral, and then turn. You can use your hands, turn the toes out for the external rotation. Back to center, inhale, and turn the toes in, internal rotation. Close your eyes, luxuriate here. The term's called arthrokinematics, a fancy word for joint movement. So not just the whole big bone moving, guys, but what's happening in the joint, in the hip. This is nourishment for our hips that need it so badly for lubrication. Nice, yogis. Bring it back to center. Use the strap, maybe tighten down. Now that you've been up for a while, you can find a little bit more release and luxuriate for a moment here. Right leg long, left leg towards the sky. Take your hands up onto the strap. We'll floss our nerve and get a beautiful abdominal workout. Use the hands as little as you need to, as much as you have to for support. Inhale. Exhale, give your sacral imprint. Bring your nose up towards the sky first, then start to use your abdominals, round through it, look at your toes, and pull them towards your face. You can use your hands to pull your body up a bit, then have your abdominals take over. If you release the strap, you should stay approximately where you are. Nice. Eccentrically lengthening the muscle, let it down nice and easy. Feel the touch down. Pause for a moment. Maybe readjust the strap again. Let's do it one more time. Inhale. Exhale, imprint your sacrum. Pull the belly in, lift the nose towards the sky. Start to round through, feel your abdominals. Look up at your toes, pull them to your face. If you were to release the strap, you'd stay somewhat where you are. And slowly release yourself back down to the earth. Find your home position. Use the strap maybe for a little bit more encouragement to open up. And the right knee and the left knee. Take the strap off the bottom of the foot. Stretch your legs out long on the mat, my goodness. And turn your toes out to the sides of the mat, external rotation. Bring them in, touch the big toes together. If they easily touch, take your feet apart. You can come up onto your elbows if you want to see what's going on, or stay as you are. Turn out. You're rolling on the heel bone, right? And then bring them in. If the toes easily touch, take the heels apart a little bit more. See if you can eke out that internal rotation. Inhale back to center, exhale, take them out. Man, we're taking such good care of our hips today. Do that a few times, internal and external rotation. We just set the stage for a wonderful 5-way belt stretch. We've primed the pump in all of the areas. Let's find that really long 5-way belt stretch. Get our hamstrings to really release. So same strap. Take it out. I would open it up so you've got like reins of a horse, one in each hand. Thanks for joining my practice today. Come onto your back. You guys are familiar with this one, I believe. Take the strap around the bottom of your foot, your right foot, right, and straighten out your leg. Look what's happened to your hamstring and your hip already. It's so free, or freer. How's that? Okay, strap on the bottom of the foot. Keep your ankle nice and stable and towel off the bottom of the foot. Run it from the metatarsals, the toes, meet the foot down to your heel and back up again. Do that a few times. warming up the acupressure points, bringing awareness to the bottom of our foot. Have the strap come to rest on the metatarsals. Keep the right knee straight. Pull down on the strap. The toes will come to the face, and at the same time, push up into the strap. Feel that right quadricep contract. If you have a hyperextended knee, be careful that you're not back kneeing it too far. As the hamstring, or excuse me, the quadriceps contracts, the hamstring gets the message to release. Okay, yogis, here we go. Imprint your sacrum. So feel that, right? That's that 6 o'clock again. As you push down, maybe you feel your hamstring tug a little bit more. That's the whole point. Keep your hands where they are. You can also lower them to the earth if that feels better for you, more like a hinge. Go ahead and straighten out your left leg. Down the mat it goes. We were just there a moment ago. Use your hands to fine-tune what's going on with your right leg. Use that term or that idea that I just gave you in arthrokinematics. The hip has been primed, right? Let it soften. And see, as it softens, the hamstring stretches a bit more. Imprint your sacrum. Try to keep the low back slightly away from the earth. We'll open the leg out to the right side. Before we do it, try to keep in mind that the leg just lowers out to the side, not down towards the bottom of your mat. Put the strap in the right hand. Inhale, and on the exhale, look at the toes of your right foot as they lower out to the right side. They turn towards the top of the mat, and the inside ankle bone goes towards the sky. Take the strap in the right hand and perhaps in the left hand. If you've got a heavy limb, it's a wonderful way to balance off the weight. Let's hang out here. Toes coming towards the top of the mat, inside ankle bone towards the sky. We're aware of keeping the left cheek down towards the ground so the top of the pelvis stays flush. Go ahead and turn the toes out a little bit more. Find that articulation in the hip. Yeah, beautiful. See if you can find the end of the range, the safety. Inhale the leg back to straight leg raised position. Straps in the left hand. Inhale, and on the exhale, take that right leg across down 45 degrees. Just the hip, right? Sacrum stays down. Imprint it again, 6 o'clock. The stretch is for the forgotten hamstring on the outside of that right leg. Pull the strap back towards the foot towards the strap. The hammy will relax as the quad takes over. Yeah, feel that beautiful release. Inhale the leg back to straight leg raised position. Let's roll it now. Take the left foot onto the earth. Inhale. On the exhale, push the left foot down, lift up just enough to clear the pelvis, and roll over onto the right side. Your right foot is on the earth, the toes are towards the top of the mat. If your head doesn't touch the ground easily, put a block underneath. Use the strap in the left hand to find that hamstring length again. So we find a little bit more length to the string. Most important cue here, underneath leg, crawl it, the left leg to the back of the mat. So pull with the little toe, that left foot, move the leg back, bend the knee, not so much hamstring work, but just enough to grab the shin, the foot or the toes, and start to make your way onto your back. What's on the floor? The rib cage up. So the low back is perpendicular to the earth. So catch up with me, find your way in, see if you just customize what needs to be customized for you. Perhaps if that right leg is way up off the ground, you take a bolster and put it underneath. Maybe you can't grab your foot, so don't do that. Maybe put a strap around the shin to help. Let's see if maybe we're stuck in our thoracic spine a little bit. Push the left elbow down into the earth, lift the heart for just a moment, and twist the rib cage. See if that helped to roll it around a little bit more. Maybe one more time. Press left elbow into the earth and lift and twist. And put your finishing touches on. Maybe use the strap, pull for the hamstring a bit more. Maybe the right hand will open the quad a bit more. Maybe you'll rotate through the thoracics a bit more, maybe all of them. If you're holding your underneath leg, release it. It's not a boomerang, just slowly straighten it. Roll back onto your back, yogis. Left leg long on the mat, right leg up in the air. Take the strap, one in each hand again. And really see if you can just convince those hamstrings, I'm the boss now. And see what you have done just to open the tissue and lubricate the joint. Take 3 long breaths. Every exhale, a little more of a stretch. And the right knee slightly, and the left knee, put the heel down on the ground or foot. Take the strap off the bottom of the right foot, put it down. Put the strap down next to your body on the left and straighten out both legs. One of my favorite times in practice. All the work and time and energy you just put into it. Look at what has happened to the right side of the body compared to the left. So listen up, lefty. We're coming for you. Let's do it. Bend both knees. Take the strap around the bottom of the left foot. Again, how lucky we are to have this practice to tend to our bodies, huh? Straighten out the left leg, push your sacrum towards the earth, find that nuance. Take the strap, one in each hand, run it from the metatarsals down to the calcaneus, the ball of the foot to the heel. Have it come back to rest on the metatarsal line. We know what to do here. Keep the left knee straight. Try not to let it bend. Pull the strap down to the foot. Push the foot into the strap. Quad will contract. Hammy will soften. Push the sacrum down or imprint it towards the ground. Keep the slight arch in the back. And look up at your foot. See as you can take it a little bit higher. Arthrokinematics. The joint softening, right? Not tugging on the bone so much, but putting the joint in the best position, the hip, the ball in the socket. Come to rest. Hands can be up or down if it's more comfortable for you. Just elbows down. And go ahead and straighten out the right leg now. Find that Tadasana leg. Right leg long to the ground. Left leg really long to the sky. Feel where you're holding. Soften that. Pause here for a few breaths. Tend to this hamstring like you did the other. Feel the origin of it or the proximal attachment of it. Left sit bone, the distal attachment below the knee. Let's open the medial hamstrings, the inside one. So switch the strap to the left hand for a moment. Keep the hip where it is. Don't let it drop to the bottom of the mat. Inhale. On the exhale, start to lower the leg out to the left. It is not the objective to get to the leg to the ground. Most of us will never do that. We control it on the way out. Left elbow on the ground. Left hand holds. Right hand can hold the strap as well. Lower it. Toes towards the top of the mat. Inside ankle bone. Yeah, turn it. So you externally rotate the hip. It's the advantageous of position of the hip for this abduction to externally rotate it. Hang out here for a moment or two and look what you can do with your attention. All of your attention right now is on this movement, and look what you can do to soften it, yeah, and open it a bit more. So fun to take the time to discover all these nuances in our body. Inhale, and on the exhale, bring the leg back up to straight leg raised position. Strap is in the right hand. On this side, maybe take the thumb of the left hand, arthrokinematics, joint movement, push it into the top of the left hip crease on the bone, push the bone down towards the bottom of the mat, and then maybe even towards the ground. And then take the left leg across the body line. Look at that. Keeping the joint in place, the muscle can just soften. It might be more comfortable for you to keep the right elbow on the ground with this. You could use two hands on this side as well and see if you can guide that hamstring into place. This is not rolled up off the ground yet. Sacrum still down. Using the strap to find that lateral hamstring. Inhale the leg back up to straight leg raised position. So yummy. Bend the right leg, foot on the ground. Inhale. Exhale, a little bit of a bridge. Roll over onto the right side. Watch the left foot as it touches the ground or a prop. Use the strap to help to encourage the hamstring to open. The toes will come towards the top of the mat. Remember, most important cue underneath leg. It crawls to the back of the mat. Your head can be up for a moment. Ultimately, be sure it has a place to rest. Bend the right knee, not so forcefully that your hamstring contracts or cramps. Grab your shin, your foot, your toes. See if as you start to put yourself on your back, you don't lose the stretch of the left hamstring. And the left hand will help to stretch the right quadriceps, so yummy. And use the elbow on the ground again to rotate through the rib cage so that right elbow pushes into the ground, lifts and rotates. Come to your barrier again. And then see, after a breath or two, can you open that up a little more? Use the strap to stretch left hammy, your hand to stretch right quad, and your awareness to open up through that thoracic cage. If you're holding your underneath legs, soften that. Roll back onto your back, please. Straight leg raise, 3 really long breaths. Right leg long, left leg to the sky. Marry the breath with the movement again. On the exhale, a really nice opening of your string. Feel where you're holding so that you can help to open that up. All right, yogis, bend left knee, bend right knee. Take the strap off the bottom of the foot and straighten out both legs. So glorious. How about we do the same thing we did a moment ago? Either stay on your back or prop yourself up onto your elbows and do that hip thing again. So bring the toes, touch together, and then take them apart. See if you feel that same freedom like we've been lubricated in our hips. The opening or internal and external rotation of those hips is so much freer. How perfect to move right into sitting pretty. I've got sitting pretty variations today. One of my very favorite students in the past, Emily, maybe she'll watch this someday. We exchange ideas all the time now. I showed her this sitting pretty probably 10 years ago at this point, and she's added to it. So some of it goes to her today, credit for what she's added. All right, yogis, let's go ahead and sit with our right foot on our left thigh. Many of you know the customization for this. Most of us will be more tight in that left hip and internal rotation, so it'll be something like this. That's where you take the blanket and put it underneath the right hip or the sit bone, right? So the pelvis is level. Take a moment, find yourself into position. Left foot straight back if possible, if you've got the plantar flexion of the ankle, or
you can turn it out so the toes are out and it's more comfortable for you. Right hip external rotation, left hip internal rotation. Take the hands behind you and open your big heart. Let's hang out here for a moment. Try to descend that left hip to the earth. Back into our theme today, pelvis separate from the leg. The hip joint is where the leg meets the pelvis. See if you can oil that up even more. Take the left hip forward, open the front of that left hip flexor. And then on the way down, see if you can internally rotate it. So it's not dropping back, it's actually rolling in. Back and forth a few times. Open through the front of the hip, and then down, sit bone down, internally spiraled hip. Let's do it one more time. Take it up, and release it down. Good, big tall body. Hang out here for a moment. Let's take the left leg, put it over onto the right, familiar to you in our seated twist. See if you can put the left big toe down on the ground. We can use our fists to press into the earth and lift the hips, put them back down, pelvis down, hands on the knee, big open heart. Arms come up, inhale. On the exhale, twist to the right. So keep the nose over the knee to start with, turn the ribs. The muscles are getting stronger now. They know how to rotate. And then turn the gaze, look over, right hand, little finger. Inhale it back to center. And on the exhale, do the opposite. Twist left, nose over knee. Bring it up through the rib cage like a corkscrew and look over left, little finger. Inhale back to center. Same thing to the right, nose over knee first. Look to the hand and then release the arms. Use the push of left and pull of right to take it around. Inhale back through center. Exhale to the left. Release and open. And back to center. Big open heart. Try to use your core to move the leg back into position as much as possible. So maybe if you've been doing this as long as I have with me, you can take your leg and just move it back to where you found it. Maybe that's not going to work and you'll just put your hands down and move it back into place. Okay. We find ourselves back to where we started. Here's some of the new pieces to it. More internal rotation. So take your hands back behind you and your left leg this time is going to come up. Right? Take it up and then put it down. So it's a lot on the foot if you're in plantar flexion. And just be careful that you're not just rotating through the ankle, but more in through the hip. So it's probably a little bit easier if you have your foot out like that, if you have restriction in plantar flexion in your ankle. So feel that. And then we're going to use our core to move our leg. So go ahead and put it down, lean back. Pull the elevator up, find that deep core, and see if you can take that leg and swing it forward. We just opened the hamstrings, right? And then bring it back. Thank you, Emily. And back into place. Click snap, maybe. Lean back, open, take it around, find that strong quad hamstring, and put it back. One more time for good luck. Take it through and bring it around. Nice. Let's turn our rib cage now, turn it to the right. Put your elbows down. Left elbow will be on the right knee, right arm will be forward. Staggered Sphinx arms. Inhale. Exhale. This has nothing to do with going to the earth. This has to do with lengthening out. Find a really long body. Walk the fingers of the left hand forward. Do another Sphinx arm pull. If your underneath leg is pinchy, slide the right hip forward a little bit. See if you can really turn the rib cage now so your heart moves towards the ground. And then let the pillow arms come into play. Rest your forehead down onto your wrists or your arms. You can stay up on your elbows if it's more comfortable. And straighten out your left leg now. Push it to the bottom of the mat. Tadasana. All the way down it goes. And then move it to the back of the mat. Open that hip flexor, iliopsoas.
Maybe you can turn the heart a little bit more and then release your forehead down to the earth and find that open beast. Gather the limbs back in again. Come sit up. Left foot goes, or right foot goes back onto the thigh. Come sit nice and tall. Walk the fingers out of the right hand. Put the elbow down. Push the hand and elbow into the earth. Find the length first. Left hand, thumb into armpit. Lengthen the spine forward. Feel that first. Yeah. Roll the heart towards the sky. Look up. Inhale the left hand up. And on the exhale, take it over. Reach out. The right hand is your anchor, right? The elbow, so you're not caving into it. That's your bolster. And reach out. How about looking up at the fingers? And then release the right ear towards the right shoulder. Pause for a moment. Inhale back up. Pull up and switch to the other side. Your Saramonte, car arms, elbows go down, left elbow goes down, and we reach out. So the elbow can be on the ground, on your shin, maybe on your hip, or some sort of prop. Lengthen out. Switch back, other side, up they go. Right elbow down, reach out. Roll the heart to the sky. Come back up. Switch it over, opposite. And back to start. Take a moment here. Where are you sitting? Are you sitting more pretty now than you did at the start? Maybe. We're going to switch to the other side now. So use your hands as much as you need to and see if you can maybe figure out how you can switch around without being too awkward, your legs to the other side. It's all about finding our core stability now, right? Okay, yogis. Left foot on right thigh, right foot back behind you. Find your pieces, use your props accordingly. If your right hip is internally spiraled too much, sit up on a prop on the left. Go nice and tall. Hands come back behind you. Inhale. On the exhale, keep the headlights forward. Twist from the hip internally rotating on that right side. And when it sinks back in, we know it's an internal spiral. Do that a few times. All the work we put into it at the beginning of practice, maybe the fruits of the labors are palpable with the movements. Beautiful. Keep the sit bone down on the ground. Find that big grounding. See if we can switch the leg now, right over left. Use your thumbs in your armpits so you don't cheat. Not even cheat, so you don't access the usual muscles. If not, take the hands back behind you just to support. Go ahead and bring the right leg over the left. Big toe touches. So why make such a big deal about that? Because we're losing the strength of a lot of our muscles, and I'd like to call some of that in. Take the fists to the ground, lift, and put the buns down. Find your big, tall body. Arms come up, inhale. Exhale, nose over knee, make a left hand turn. Look over little finger, left hand. Inhale back to center. Exhale right, nose over knee first. And then turn. Inhale back to center. Turn. Release the arms, use those as the extra added bonus. Inhale back to center, to the right. Release the arms, and extra added this side. Inhale back to center, pause for a moment. Let's return the leg where we found it. Use the arms to help or not. Let's go ahead and lean back onto the hands. The right leg now will come up. Remember, either have the foot straight back or maybe even more access, turning the toes out for this one. Internally rotating, another wonderful way to access the joint. Good, bring it back to rest. Let's sweep it now. So take it back, inhale, exhale, pick it up and take it around. Try to keep the knee as straight as possible.
Take it back around again and find your grounding. 3 times, yogis. Inhale. Exhale, take it around and back. Inhale and exhale. If we're moving, it's yoga. Foot back, big open. Let's turn our beast. Inhale. On the exhale, turn your rib cage. We know it comes from the ribs. Turn the ribs around. Put the elbows down gracefully on the ground or on some props. Left elbow forward, right elbow touching that left knee. Staggered Sphinx arms to lengthen our body. Inhale. On the exhale, push the hands and elbows into the earth and lengthen out. Crawl the fingers forward, right hand. Same thing. Inhale, exhale, lengthen out. And start a little more twist to the left. Find those ribs as they move around. Yeah. The head's nice and free. Change your arms to your pillow arms. See if you can rest your forehead down. And then straighten out your right leg. Tadasana. Push it down. Bottom of the mat. And then crawl it to the back of the mat. Try to keep the knee as straight as possible. Oh my goodness. The opening after all that attention to the front of your right hip, your iliopsoas complex. Hang out here for a moment, crawl that foot back, maybe another notch. Gather the limbs back in again, come sit nice and tall. Left hand marches out, elbow down to the ground. Push the hand and elbow into the earth, big open heart. Take your thumb into your armpit. Hello, Kamira. Lengthen out. There's his down dog and up dog. Lengthen out. Beautiful. Roll your heart to the sky. Perfectly done, fella. Look up. Inhale the right arm up. And over the crown of the head. Reach out. Maybe let the left ear release down. Inhale yourself up with your Saramonte arms and switch to the other side. Find a grounding, a mooring for that right elbow. Reach out. Inhale back to center. Exhale, let it down. Inhale back up. And out. Inhale back to center. Beautiful. All right, let's put all that hard work to our last few poses here, some more twists with some hamstring lengthening. So we've done this a few times in the past. Start with your left leg out, please. Your right foot into the groin. You can sit up on your blanket again if you'd like. Remember, there's 2 distinct poses. One of them we're going to turn and touch our toes, and the other one is side C. So we're set up for side C here, but we want to do the other one first. So take the right knee and move it forward, and the pelvis will rotate around, and now you're looking at your left foot. Ground those sit bones in, find the length to your spine, turn the ribs so you're addressing your foot. Inhale the arms up, Dandasana arms. On the exhale, it's not a reaching, it's more just send your hands out and see where they comfortably land. Perhaps it'll be your knee, maybe your shin or your ankle, or perhaps they'll go to your foot. See if you can not overreach it. It's not about rounding the spine, it's about keeping the spine nice and long. You could even use a strap on the bottom of the foot if you feel like your hamstrings are still not where they need to be. Rotate the heart, see if you can rotate the rib cage. Close your eyes, yogis, and move the crown of your head out towards your toes. Soften, there's been a lot of prep. Inhale the arms up, Dandasana arms. Exhale, turn and face the front again. Let's go ahead and take the right leg and move it back so things are more open here now. We're not twisting to the foot, we're side bending. Some of you might be able to bend your left knee for a moment, take your peace sign fingers of the left hand underneath the Achilles tendon of that left leg, and then slide the leg long again so that the elbow stays down on the earth. If that seems ridiculous, then don't do that. You can even just have your hand, have your hand behind your knee, or even support something like this. Maybe a strap again around the bottom of the foot. Everybody has different preferences. Whichever, you're trying to keep that left leg straight. Beautiful, yogis. Take the right hand down onto the top of the right thigh and spin the rib cage open. Perhaps that's where you're going to stay. Maybe you'll inhale the right hand up. And on the exhale, the left elbow is going to secure that left leg in place as the right hand moves towards the left toes. Close your eyes, soften, and see if you can find where the hold is. Probably right side waistline. Soften in. See if you can bring the awareness to the hold spot. Inhale yourself back up. So beautiful. Exhale. Switch the legs. Take lefty forward, take righty out. Feel all that movement in our hips. Straighten out the right leg. Find that tall body. Let's address the foot. So draw the left leg in. We're now facing the right foot. Turn the rib cage. Ground down through the sit bones. Find that very long body. Inhale the arms up. And on the exhale, we don't reach, but instead do the opposite. Tilt the pelvis anteriorly, right? Start to feel the arch in the low back, the flexion into the right hip, the softening of the side bodies, and then allow the hands to reach where they may. Close your eyes. Try to spin the heart towards the ground a bit more. The goal is not touching down necessarily, but keeping the spine in its beautiful curves. We work the hamstrings. Hopefully they've given in a little bit. Inhale the arms back up again. Find that very long body. Hands will come down. Switch the leg back now. Left knee moves towards the top of the mat. Right leg nice and long. This is our side bend. Bend the right knee. Put the peace fingers underneath or wherever feels right for you. Achilles, maybe. Straighten out the leg. Have the elbow down on the ground or just at least inside the right knee. Spin that rib cage wide open. Sit bones press the earth. Inhale the left hand up, reach up, and take it across. I suggest you close your eyes. The toes are out there somewhere, who cares? Reach out. I promise you, if you'll take a moment here to identify where the hold is, maybe it's your breath. Find the breath again and you'll see immediately, oh, I'm going to soften into this. Inhale yourself back up. Tall sit position. Thank you for joining me for this practice, my friends. Come back onto your backs now. Take your arms up over your head. Stretch your legs really long. Feel what's happened to our minds and our bodies. Nothing matters right now. Take a breath or two in this position. We know it's so easy or much easier to fill up our lungs when our rib cage is so huge like this. Bring your arms to your sides. Grab your mat with your fists. Inhale, and on your exhale, push your hands towards your feet and slink up the mat an inch or two for Shavasana. If your eye bag is handy, cover your eyes
If not, just close them, block out the visuals, cut down distractions. Touch the tip of the tongue to the roof of your mouth behind your teeth. It's a calming point. Shavasana is such an important part of our practice. It's the icing on the cake, it really is. Let the tongue release now to the bottom of the mouth. The lips will part slightly. No tongue and no teeth, no gripping, no grinding. That softness message is relayed down through the rest of your body. See if you can feel the tissue starting to respond as everything softens, keeping the gut nice and relaxed. There's a tremendous connection between your gut and your brain. It has its own pathway. See if we can keep that nice and calm. Let yourself start to drift off now, yogis, into your lucid sleep, into your productive rest, into this Shavasana. When we start to lose the sense of where our bodies end and space begins, how yummy. Take that magic yogic carpet ride out for a minute or two here and enjoy the flight. Very few of us traveling anywhere these days. It's nice to be able to take flight in our practice. It's not the same thing, I realize that, but at least for a moment, it's this flight of fancy, right? To go someplace where we dreamed of going. A moment of excitement and exhilaration. On the back of the skull is a little protuberance called the inion, like a marble. Let your head rock side to side so slowly. Bring your awareness back to your bodies by wiggling your fingers and your toes. When you're ready, slide your heels up towards your buttocks. Glue the knees and ankles together, roll on your right side. Away from your heart. And notice as you pass through into this transition position, thoughts of kindness, of generosity, of altruism and seva, selfless service. Some compassion these days, right? Some empathy. Getting ourselves back on track again, whatever that means to you, contribute. We remember, loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May all beings everywhere be happy and free. May the thoughts, words, and actions of my own life contribute in some way to that happiness and to that freedom for all. Inhale, and on your exhale, slowly make your way back up to your seated position. I hope you felt the yumminess of the practice today, really tending to our bodies and keeping our community connected. Take your hands to the ground, feel the energetics connecting you, like plugging that battery, charging that battery. Yeah.
Draw the energy up from the earth to your heart center. Thumbs to the heart will rise. We pause here to remind ourselves to be so grateful for all we have. Inhale. Exhale, let the hands float forward. Fingertips touch, fingernails touch, hands open like a lotus. Bring the energy from your dog or from wherever to your heart center. Hands. Take your thumbs to your heart, to your third eye. Sorry. Still contemplation point, all seeing eye. ESP eye. It's a clarity spot. Let's bow to what makes us happy. Namaste. Thank you, yogis. Thank you, friends. What a beautiful practice today. I hope you will enjoy the rest of your day. I will be back again next Sunday as always. I know Ike sent out a whole bunch of stuff this week. If you're interested in joining me for some of my extended offerings, it's all available on Red Hawk website or some of the numerous emails you've probably received. Thank you so much. We will hang out for a little bit, say hi to you, and